catalyst for economic development. That is our final theme for this afternoon. I chatted to the Malaysian Health Minister on Sunday. He has been here for the entire food forum. Normally ministers pop in just before their speech, do their speech that's written by somebody else and leave. They don't stay for 2 whole days and engage and sit out there in the front row and get involved. So I want you to know how special this health minister is. He also said, Femi, tell them I'm a non-smoking vegetarian as well. Dr. S. Subramaniam, please come up here on stage. So in these 2 intense packed days, Doctor, Minister, I don't know if it's called you Doctor or Minister or both.
Yeah.
Minister, Doctor.
Yeah. Right.
2 days of this.
The doctor is the permanent thing. Minister is,
yes.
you know.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Whatever happens.
Yeah.
2 days. What have you been getting out of this food forum?
Oh, it's a lot of information.
Yeah.
Ministers also practice information.
Right.
After what Jeffrey said just now.
Sure.
So I think you require a lot of information that will be a guide in assisting in development of policies and for the country.
Great. I mean, it's lovely to...
I mean, it's not often you get a chance to get so much information in short a time.
Right. Absolutely.
And of course, I can't do anything else in Stockholm except sit here.
Right.
Right.
Don't tell the rest of Stockholm that. All right. So... Malaysia, in terms of health and nutrition, what do we need to know before you give your presentation? What would be helpful background for us?
Well, as an upper middle income country going towards high income in the next few years, we are burdened with the double burden of disease, and our challenge, like most other countries in our situation, is non-communicable diseases, epidemic of obesity and overweight, and the associated problems which come with that.
Wow, so that's a very familiar story.
Right.
But it's got a Malaysian flavour. We're looking forward to hearing it. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you. Hello, how are you? Before I start, I should tell you how I landed up here. Because looking through the array of speakers who spoke, there were a lot of scientists who spoke, environmentally spoke, and many political leaders from Sweden and Norway, but nobody else from the rest of the world. And this happened because I think about a year ago, I was in the World Economic Forum in Tianjin, and coincidentally myself and Gunhild were in the same hall on healthy living systems, creating a healthy community. And after I had talked, we were sitting next to each other, she told me I'm running this foundation called EATS Foundation and conduct a EATS Forum. Why didn't you come for the session next year? This was last year. After that, we lost communication, and towards the end of last year, I received a letter. And after thinking a lot and waiting for a long time, I made the decision to come here. And after having come here, as I said, it has been a very useful 2 days. But over the 2 days, I was actually thinking, what is my role here? Initially, I thought I should being a medical practitioner, whether I should portray myself as a doctor. Then having heard all the scientists speaking, I thought that might not be a very good idea, because you got the best of the lot who are speaking here. Then I thought whether I should talk on the agenda of environment, and you had all the environmental speaking. Then I felt probably the best thing is to remain what I am. That is remain a minister, a politician, and a leader, and probably look at it from that point of view. So that's the introduction to this topic. It's not easy to be a leader after what Jeffrey described about the Secretary of Health of America just now. And it's not very easy to talk after that kind of recommendation and treatment. And having said that, and I thought it's not easy to be the Secretary of Health of any country, let alone America or Malaysia, for the reasons which Jeffrey Sachs has already alluded just now. So having said that as a background, let me go to the reason who are politicians and political leaders. This includes politicians throughout the world, except for those from Scandinavia. Because I've seen them for the last 2 days, they're filled with altruism. By and large, most politicians want to be popular. That's why they're in politics anyway. And most parties want to be in power. That's the reason why they're in politics anyway. I've not seen any political party who does not want to be in power. So having said that, so there always decisions are related to whether it fits into these two criteria. The third one, are politicians elusive to the issues of agriculture, nutrition, and sustainability? The answer is no. But again, the approach is whether it actually fulfills the first two. So the response to these issues is whether it actually fulfills the first two. And as you know, I think Jeffrey Sachs said this yesterday. He reminded Scandinavians, don't assume the rest of the world is like Sweden or Norway. It's very different. The situations are different. The conditions are different. Political evolution is different. Political systems are different. So responses are different. We need to appreciate that to understand how decisions are made. And this decision-making process can be very difficult, depending what are the pressures which are mounted on leaders to make decisions. And very often they actually make the process of decision-making a difficult thing. So when we talk about agriculture, nutrition, and sustainability, how to make it work? The leading title in this agenda is we need to connect it to the political agenda. It cannot be disjointed from the political agenda. The agriculture agenda, the nutrition agenda, the sustainability agenda has to be connected to the political agenda to get the policies, to get the funding, to get the bureaucracy to move. There has to be that connectivity. And to ensure, there was a very recent study done by the Standing Committee of Nutrition in the United States, which studied 8 countries on the theme of nutritional sensitivity to agriculture. 6 countries from Africa, Brazil, and 1 from Southeast Asia, Thailand. And the result of this study, what it showed was, most of the countries which were studied gave importance to poverty eradication, gave importance to employment generation, gave importance to increasing in productivity, but did not give much importance of linking agriculture to nutrition. Why? The answer is poverty eradication is a political agenda. Employment generation is a political agenda. Increasing productivity of agricultural products is a political agenda. But nutrition and agriculture linkage has not become a political agenda. And unless and until this linkage is done and it becomes a political agenda, then it will not be given the priority as shown by that study, which actually showed that all the 8 countries, although having various systems, many agencies, but all their focuses was towards poverty eradication, increasing productivity of products, whether it be maize, whether it be rice, but it was not a direct linkage between agriculture and nutrition as such. So this is important because it is important for us to ensure that this, I just got 1 minute and 35 seconds, it just started. Right. So it is important that we relate this, and this whole thing has become a populist movement. And how can anything become a populist movement? Has to be empowerment of the people, creating awareness among the people, and the people, there must be gain momentum in that, and gaining momentum, if that can rock the political base, then you will ensure that this actually becomes part of the political agenda. So probably that has to be one of the agenda of EAT, how to get this on the political agenda, because by moving the political base, it will come to the political agenda. I'm already in red. Having said that, one political agenda which will be useful is to intervene in small farmers. It's very relevant, huge number, 500 million farmers, 2 billion people. Making them successful will actually create a very strong feeling good within communities and give strength to the government. Now coming back to Malaysia, This is the prototype of country. I just wanted you to show the slide of how we have actually, from 1965 to now, improved our health indices as far as neonatal mortality rate, infant mortality rate, and under 5 mortality rate, which was very high from 48 in 1965 to 6.3 and 4, reflective of our health system. And since I became a health minister, well, among the jobs which I've done, the first thing which I did was actually something which might seem very strange to most of you. We actually removed subsidy which was given for sugar. We have been giving subsidy for sugar for the last 30 years because it's a cultural thing. People make a lot of cakes. And to help the people, government was giving subsidy for sugar. And even to do such a simple thing, there was a lot of concern among politicians whether it's the right thing or not. And I have to reassure my colleagues in the cabinet, nothing will happen. We'll still remain popular as ever. And that removal did not give any problems. It was well accepted. And apart from that, I've initiated a community empowerment program to combat NCDs. Our aim is to train 50,000 volunteers on the ground to work in the community to assist us in the war against NCDs. And the last thing, which just for the sake of time, I also create a unit to ensure that decisions made by my ministry is based on evidence and not based by perception. Very often, a lot of decisions made by governments are made by perception. And it's essential that particularly ministries, the health ministry, make decisions based on evidence. And for that, we have created a unit to promote evidence, and this unit is now in the process of collecting evidence for every possible aspect of health, nutrition, so that all the decisions which we'll make will be based on those. So with those words, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much, time is up. And my message to EAT is you have involved the scientists, you have involved the environmentalists, you involved the technocrats. It's high time EAT also involves the political leaders. Thank you very much.